Hi, welcome back to the Developmental Editing Fiction course. This lesson is all about the message, what the author is trying to convey to the reader. Messages can be shown through setting, characters, character arcs, and dialogue. Oftentimes, it's actually stated by a side character. There will be multiple messages in each novel, but I'm going to narrow it down to 3 types. A life lesson is the moral of the story. Persuasive messages are what you're trying to convince the reader to think or to do. And an informative message is just factual information you want the reader to understand. The messages tie into the themes like love, coming age, and good versus evil, but they are what is said about the theme. Life lessons are in most novels. The character will deal with what we do in reality, like puberty, falling in love, divorce, or old age. But other messages could be persuasive. Now, not every novel has a call to action, like most romances don't, but other fiction genres can involve convincing others to believe in something or cause them to act in order to change society. An informative message could be something like revealing what life is like as a refugee. Setting is an obvious message, as characters are influenced by their surroundings and show that this affects their life. Maybe the story starts in a refugee camp and shows the realities there, then moves on to what the character experiences after they are released. These are informative messages. A persuasive message would be the underlying trying to change the way things are handled for refugees. Using an alternate reality or future like The Handmaid's Tale and The Hunger Games are very effective for wanting to warn society about how easily things could all go wrong. The characters and their journeys should be more subtle messages, but they are the heart of the story. What they have to deal with and overcome, and how they do, can be the life lesson, persuasive argument, or informative message. I'm going to show you some popular books as examples. These all have many messages, but these are just going to be a few of them. So in To Kill a Mockingbird, there's a life lesson of conforming to gender roles. Informative would be how people live with prejudice in a small town, and the persuasive argument is to treat everyone fairly. So Scout is very young in this book, but the women already want her to be feminine in the way she dresses, who she interacts with, and how she acts. Since she has to conform to grow up, this is a life lesson. While the book is slanted towards the upper middle class and people's perspective, it does give some insight into how others were seen and how lies of their culture were perceived as truth. This is an informative message of how people lived with prejudice. The persuasive argument is to treat everyone based on their actions, not where they come from or their background. Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale has an informative message of those in power manipulate those who aren't, and her persuasive message is to fight for your rights. Now, Atwood takes this to an extreme, placing men in full charge of women and their actions and their bodies. She tries to incite the reader to act for human rights, so she places a girl in a seemingly powerless situation, but shows that one person can make a difference. The Hunger Games shows how our instinct for survival will trump our moral code. So Collins puts Katniss in a situation where she had to kill other humans to survive. In doing so, broke her moral code, but she did it in order to have food for her family and to survive. Reality TV shows like My 600-Pound Life, Alone, and even cooking shows that show close-up of cuts on people's fingers are viewed as entertainment in our society. These people are in pain or despair. The show Alone even places people in horrifying conditions and leaves them to fend for themselves on purpose. So Collins's message with the Hunger Games is to stop this kind of entertainment by placing children at the center of a game that's premise is to kill others in order to survive. Just like in Alone, these people are trying to survive in order to support their families in most cases. When you're editing, you're going to look at how each message is delivered. Mark where they are stated, veiled, displayed through a character or arc. And then, are they clear or are they subtle? If you feel some are too obvious, how can they be modified to make it better? If some are too veiled, how can they be brought to the surface better? Make a simple note to yourself as to what you think at the moment might help you accomplish these things. But you're going to have to think about them a little bit more before you go back and actually change them. Readers are going to get most of your memos while they're reading, but more subtle ones like through characters, arcs, they may not even understand for days or weeks later, and that's good. We want that. You've completed this lesson on messages. Next time, I'll see you for characters.